Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue Magic once again for another episode, a special edition because we usually do these on Tuesdays of Put You On. But man, we have one of the greats, in my opinion, right now that's like floating around, and I'm not sure if he signed yet. We're gonna talk about that, um, Mr. Darius Lockhart. um, so yeah, we had to do a special edition, man. Once I knew that you were able to do it, I was like, all right, we gotta do it on a Thursday, whatever day you was ready for you, because I actually wanted to get you on here for real, for real. That's like one of the top. To be honest with you, before we get started, I'll let you know you're the reason why. One of the reasons why I actually started this segment.
Wow.
Look,
I pre-
because I've seen your promos, I've seen your match, and I was like, why isn't more people talking about this guy? And I started talking to some of the other podcasters and black media of independent wrestling. Like, yo, how do we get people to start talking about people like Darius Lockhart? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start putting some of the best matches in front of the audience that may not, know where to look for it. And so I just wanted to let you know that, you was one of the most inspirational ones behind this idea.
no, that's huge to me. I really appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
No problem. Then,
Mm.
so first and foremost, uh, how did you get? What's your wrestling style? I want to get into that first, like, because I know that we spoke with Darius Carter. He put us on to like different wrestling styles. What is your wrestling style that you think?
Um, my first instinct is to say heart, just because it's a amalgamation of a whole bunch of different wrestling styles. I'm growing up in North Carolina. So are my trainers. So I have this Southern background. I have roots in classic wrestling, traditional. The old school Ricky Steamboat to Flair and all NWA stylings. But
Right.
then on top of that, I had a fascination with the technical aspect of professional wrestling. So, I did a couple stints in England and tried to adapt some of that style as well. But I will also, um, I use the term Panther style to hype this match up, and I
Right.
think style is a little bit by any means necessary. So, I will grapple you, I will stretch you out, and we'll do joint manipulation all day, but I will just smack the shit out you too. So I'm a striker sometimes, but that's just more of the Beatties Ford, Charlotte, North Carolina in me that I can just take out. But so it's a mixture of styles. It's kind of hard to put into words, but I do like to be be more cognizant about what I'm doing in the ring. It is a more methodical approach what I like to do in terms of getting people's heads and out wrestling them. I think that's the approach I prefer.
You did make a point to put out a tweet after this match and said, for those that didn't think you could grapple, I believe you said was, this is the match where you'll see me at my best, kind of. I'm paraphrasing,
No,
but
yeah.
what made you put out that kind of tweet?
um, just because I pride myself on being I pride myself on having technical ability. I pride myself on having technical ability. That's something that for a while, up until recently, I didn't see a lot of African American wrestlers being presented or like glorified or uplifted in that manner. Usually they just
Mm-hmm.
talk about how freaks, we're freaky athletes, or we're just so natural athletes. So it's almost as if we didn't. It's almost as if we were just naturally good at wrestling, or we're lucky, so we don't put any skill or thought behind it. So
Right.
I made a very big effort to show technical expertise and thought and strategy in my wrestling. And I just never felt like people listed me with those people when it comes. And maybe that's to my own doing. I'm a little bit of a hybrid too. If you want to trade hands, I'll
Right.
trade hands with you. In the past, I used to be a little bit more of a flyer, but not really. It was never really my bread and butter. I could just go when I needed to. But I always kind of not really resented, but always just kind of disappointed that people omitted me out of that technical aspect conversation, especially since I worked on my ground game so strongly the past couple of years. So I just want to be held in high regards in that light too. I mean, I'm more than just a technical wrestler, thank God. But
Right.
I throw some respect on the name and the title. That's all that was. Just me being honest about what I felt. I'm seeing these lists and I never see my name, so I'm like, oh,
Right. Yeah.
interesting.
Like I said,
Yeah,
like that's kind of what I'm looking at. It's like, why isn't nobody? It should be more people talking about this. And recently, a few of us podcasters have talked about pushing those that we feel like like they should have the eyes in a sense, and how do we support that? That's the generous conversation, right? How do we support these indie wrestlers that's on their way to the mainstream, so to speak, or the main TVs, is like, by purchasing, merchandise and sharing these matches in a sense, right?
Yeah.
What do you, um,
Well, I was saying, we thank y'all for that too. There's a bunch of us that understand the connection. Unfortunately, I have been sort of a recluse the past couple of years. So I've kind of enjoyed my privacy and not talking to people.
right,
I'm very sometimey about that, about media. But I do respect you guys' position, and I do love the influx of Black podcasters and Black, social media, Black on social media, that's like using their platforms to amplify Black voices and Black personas. And I think that's very
right,
admirable. I think it's what we need. I think there needs to be a decent, healthy connection between the two.
yeah,
There's something to work on. You know what I mean? There's some people, but I think both sides kind of fall to the wayside a little bit, can go to the little extreme. But when we're able to meet in the middle of like something like this, it's always something beautiful. So I appreciate y'all taking the effort to even, put spotlights on people like Darius Carter and Eel O'Neill and things like that. I think that's tremendous on y'all's part. So we thank y'all.
thank you, thank you.
Told y'all that.
I think what it is that for a long time we didn't really see ourselves not only on the TV screens but behind these writings, right?
Right.
I feel like me and my tag partner Jenna, who does the podcast with me every week, me and her used to always talk about how when we was wrestling fans, we never had people like us as wrestling fans as well. It was like a small collective, and it seems like in the past couple of years we've seen that the community is really bigger than what we really thought it was.
Yeah.
And that's in the sense of wrestlers as well. Just like our boy Reg, Righteous Reg, she does the BW 500. For a while, we didn't even know it was like 500 names to put on a list. You know what I mean? So we really it's really becoming more aware around these times, and I'm glad that we were able all to come together and bring a spotlight to those part that we thought was never there.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about this Panther style versus Tiger style going into this match against Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, well, I kind of you stated kind of before, that you felt like now that people were mentioning me, especially in the realm of technical wrestlers, and that's fine. That's for a number of reasons we can point and choose all day, but the fact is, that I haven't been necessarily all that visible the past 2 years, and that's a number of reasons, like I said, but. Lee Moriarty and I have a lot of similarities, but the trajectories have been just very different. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought about it. I was like, well, this kind of the story writes itself in a way. He goes by the Tiger and everything like that. And there's obvious steps I carry myself and values that I carry with myself, what I'm saying, and people that inspire me. So, I said, what is my answer to Tiger style? Because truth be told, if you don't have an answer to Tiger style, Lee Moriarty is going to go in and whoop your ass. And I didn't want a full, didn't want to come out embarrassed because, in my heart of hearts, I do believe I am just as good, if not better than Lee Moriarty. He did happen in the match happens, but, we'll talk about it as it goes on, as we watch. But I felt that it was necessary to show people, and this was a time to prove that I am on that level. And that although I haven't been that visible in the past couple of years, that my contemporaries have made a rise, and they've been more visible. People like AJ Gray, people like Calvin Tankman, people, like Shug D and Trisha Dora and Billy Dixon, and they've stepped up. And and I'm a little. Some of them I have a little bit of seniority in. I've been doing this for almost 9 years now, if you consider the day I started training. So it is like, okay, well, they've in terms of visibility, they're right there. So I got to show people that, yeah, I do this too, and I've been doing this for a while, and I can keep up. Just haven't had the opportunities or the same, eyes on me necessarily. So once this was just me rising to the occasion and going, all right, you got your style, I got mine. We'll see what happens in the end. Because people need to know that I'm not taking any back seat anymore. I'm walking with this class as well.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of, you bring up Trisha Dora and Darius Carter. Like I said, recently we had Darius Carter up here. He spoke about you being a number one contender.
Yeah.
Against Trisha Dora. Yeah. Would you have anything to say back about that?
I always start off addressing Darius Carter with respect. We don't always get along. Some of his values don't align mine. Some of his morals and his code and his movements I don't really rock with. But I do respect and kind of like him in a weird way. I have a certain like for Darius Carter, so I will preface it with that. But no, I don't quite resent what he said, but I always shake my head at it because people always admit the big factor. Mr. Grimm. No one talks about Mr. Grimm in that match with Trish Adora and I. If you watch that back when Trish Adora's first, crowned world champion, she pinned me, granted. But beforehand, if you watch the whole first half of that match, I am in charge, complete charge. And I love this to the death, but that's just what it is. I had her on the mat working the arm, and it was only a matter of time. She started a little bit of comeback, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't shut down in a matter of seconds. But as as I tore my pec in a little bit of moment, laying there during the match, laying there on the match, Mr. Grimm slides in, cashed in this opportunity, and now it's a triple threat. So now I gotta not only wrestle one of the best technicians in the world and who is soon to become the world champion, but I also got to worry about a 250+ pound monster of a man who's putting people in body bags that I already beat earlier that night. So I beat Grimm before, made it to the finals. I'm about to beat Trish Adora. Then Grimm comes back, and I have to worry about triple threat, and I have a torn pectoral muscle. So it's funny that people love to say, "Well, you got beat already." Yeah, I was the first, the first person to lose, I guess.
Right.
But it wasn't without a little BS, I should say, or a lot of happenings. I think if Trish Adora and I go one-on-one, which somehow it's managed to slip through our fingers. It's been scheduled a couple of times. It's been canceled a couple of times. It's all something we have. But I think, if it's one-on-one, respectfully, my sister, I have her number. So Darius Carter is saying, what he's saying to admit me and saying that, I'm not in line for it. Well, I should get my rematch. First of all, I never had a fair shot. I feel like Finn Balor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Balor, no one's talking about that. Like what happened to my rematch. I got cashed in on and injured. I don't get a fair one-on-one, but everyone just gets to, so it's fine. And if I have to come back and earn it, I'll come back and earn it. But people don't always like having a revolutionary on their show. So that's the kind of thing you have to find a way around.
So speaking of, what does being a revolutionary mean to you? I know that's one of your hashtags that you use on the social medias.
Being a revolutionary, first and foremost, is a person who seeks to inspire change. Now, hopefully, usually that said change is inspired by a cause, probably a noble cause, something along the lines of, liberation for the people, or just to stop injustices from happening to others. At least that's what in the loop for. Being a revolutionary is just working through your love to help others, working through your desire to make change, working through your just the overall passion and care to make the world a better place, really, and with whatever you have, you know what I mean. There's Dr. Khalid Muhammad, who is is definitely a radical. I don't agree with everything he says, but he has some wise words, and he said, whatever you do, be a revolutionary. If you're gonna be a father, be a revolutionary father. If you're gonna be a mother, be a revolutionary mother. If you're gonna be a baby, be a revolutionary baby, cracking the suppressors upside the head with the baby bottle. You know what I mean? Like it's you got to do whatever you want to do, and you got to do it with a rhyme, a reason, a cause, and be willing to change and shake some shit up when it's not right. That's what being a revolutionary is all about, and I'm seeing that more and more through this past 4 or 5 years. Honestly, starting that was one of the best things I could have done for myself, and hopefully it's positively affected others.
Speaking of affecting others, recently you made your announcement that you will be doing making your debut with NWA and getting ready to fix that promotion. As you started the promote. Honestly, started the campaign this past summer, and a lot of people gathered right behind you, and they saw that vision with you. How does it feel that you're this much closer to fulfilling that vision?
Well, I'm sure I'll say it there, but I'll say it here now too. First of all, it feels amazing to have people gathered behind me. I couldn't have done it without them. So, like most of the things in my life, without the people, I wouldn't have anything. So I have to give thanks to them. It feels pretty cool to see something so organic come to fruition. I hope we can take it by the horns and go forth and really put my money where my mouth is. And Lord knows my mouth. But I think my hands can and my body can keep up with it. You know what I mean? So now that we're in the door, we can inspire change from the inside. We can do some things. I just hope that people can kind of migrate with me and follow me on this journey, help support, and if you see something you like, hold me accountable. See something you don't like, hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? I am overall still working for the people. My boss is the people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're doing that. But other than that, I feel pretty good about it. I'm hoping that we can really see some real change going forward from here. I think this will be an interesting journey for myself, and as well as people who follow me.
Definitely. So what's one of the first goals going into NWA that you have on your list?
Well,
that needs fixing.
Elephant in the room of why I got there. I challenged to be. I laid the challenge out to NWA to give me the opportunity to become the second ever Black world champion for Black NWA World Wrestling. Right. It's sadly in 2021 there's only been one, and still our truth. We have to show respect to the OGs. You know what I mean? Shout out to institutions as well. But there needs to be more, and bringing that home, bringing that belt not only to the people, and letting them see someone who looks like themselves with that title around the waist, which is very rare, obviously, but also bringing that title home to Charlotte. That belt was made and bled for in North Carolina, and to be a Charlotte native, and to now know who's the biggest person in Charlotte to hold that title, and to have the opportunity to not only as a Black man to reimagine what that championship stands for, but also redefine who that championship stands for. I can now we don't have to say Charlotte NWA title and have such an ugly legacy that's intertwined with it. Maybe we can now move this on to a place and have it progress. Unfortunately, past NWA champions haven't always done what's right, but hopefully I can continue and change the course of that and bring some grace back to Charlotte and the community. So those are first and foremost.
Yeah, we definitely. You already know we're right behind you on your fight to correct those things that's wrong over there. Another company that you.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I can't guarantee that it's gonna happen right away. You got to get some footing.
Right.
They know who I am. There is interest. I know that they're starting a new show based around a certain concept that may be a little feeling for me. So maybe there have to be more than one thing I do that's historic there. You know what I mean? Right. I might have to create more history even beyond the NWA World Title. But creating history is the main thing. I just want to get that part across.
Definitely. Making history is always a good start when you put your name in the books. Oh, yeah. It starts to trend down the line. Another company that you've been heavily affiliated with has been AEW. How was it having that match with Ricky Starks?
Oh, it was fantastic. Getting to go in there and cut my teeth against some of the best in the world. That's Ricky Starks to me. I had a bunch of people on the list at the beginning of this year, and I said, these are some of the people that I feel like can, make me rise to a different level. And Ricky Starks is one of those people. Gratefully, actually, in a weird way, every person I've wrestled this year was on that list, and that's been a very good blessing. But Ricky was definitely high on the list, and it was an honor to go in there and wrestle one of the world's finest. I think Ricky has a high ceiling. I think the best is yet to come for Ricky Starks. And unfortunately, he did get the win. I thought I had him a couple of times. That crossbody was really close. A couple of my pins were really close, but I wasn't able to get him. But being in that atmosphere is really cool, and it went really well. People were very happy with the match, both the fans and the company. So where that leads us, we'll see. But it was a cool thing to see the positive response from it and see what people thought. And I took the champ to his limit, the FTW champion to his limit. I mean, we went. You saw a lot of matches didn't go as long, but I was fortunate to there and take the fight to Ricky. So people take notice of that thing. So it was really cool.
And it would also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it also trend that day when that match came through. How does it feel knowing that whenever you post a match that is anticipated, like for instance, this match with Lee Moriarty that we're getting ready to watch? I know I was like tracking it for over like a month. Like, did it happen yet? Is it up yet? When are we gonna get the match? And you and Lee Moriarty was very good with responding to everybody, letting them know like it's coming, it's coming. How does it feel knowing that you have that kind of attention on you from the outside?
It's a blessing. You know what I mean? I'm glad to have a reputation that positively precedes me and can create engagement like that. That's that. I do not look that gift horse in the mouth, as Southerners would say.
Right.
It's hard to gain traction. It's hard to gain attention, especially when you have a big lapse between some of this work like I do. But it feels good to see the people positively reacting to it, and it shows me that I haven't really, I'm not losing a step or anything like that. I'm still sharp as ever
Right.
every time. So it's not that I need validation. I have a very interesting relationship with validation, and sometimes I understand that it's important, but I don't always want to, you know, I don't always need it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's a beautiful validation to hear people really enjoy the work and that's touching folks. So people who have been reaching out, sending DMs, whether they've been fans or they've been other wrestlers or things like that, anticipating it and then even loving it afterwards, that just meant the world to me.
So you speak about a list that you had in the beginning of the year. Who's left on that list that you haven't had a chance to get in the ring with yet?
There's like 35 more people. I had a mega list. Honestly, it was just kind of and it wasn't even all had to be this year. It was just like in general,
Right.
for the career for the next few years. Who do I need to work with? Um, and I was lucky to step in the ring with Willow Nightingale. I was lucky to step in the ring with Brooke Valentine. Lucky to step in the ring with Shane Taylor. And lucky to step in the ring with Brian Keith. But I definitely, I will say first and foremost, I want to get a rematch with Brian Keith. I definitely want to get that off there. But there's obvious ones. There's Jonathan Gresham. I have that target on his
Oh,
head
that's awesome.
for a little minute. Jonathan Gresham's on my list. Fred Yehai and I were supposed to wrestle this month, but some things just didn't happen and just kind of went out the window. So, but Fred Yehai is on the list. It's just really kind of a Jossie. I think the world of Jossie. I think he's it factor personified. If you could, put in a human, it's Jossie.
Right.
Myron Reed, I want to rematch with him. We wrestled about 2017, maybe 2-3 years ago. But I think we're so incredible now. Definitely want to rematch. I can name them all: Calvin Tankman, AJ Gray, Queen, Tonga from the UK, OJMO from the UK, Thanks from the UK. It's so many who's who of
The
people I
list goes
respect.
on and on and on.
It goes on and on. Daniel Makabe, but it's just a big list, and we'll get to it eventually. I'm a person in timing nowadays. I'm becoming detached from rushing, detached from forcing things, and I believe that
Right.
all time divine timing. So things are going slow right now, but it's only helping, and it's only building anticipation. It's only building love and admiration that I couldn't articulate. It's really awesome. So I can't wait to get through that list over the next few years, and you'll see. And I'll probably start telling fans, yeah, that was one, that was another one, that was as we go on. Yeah.
So I know that you said it was a slow start. Did the pandemic prevent any of the plans that you had last year? Because I know a lot of wrestlers was affected by the pandemic. How did you find your way around it? Because I feel like a lot of your promo videos
Yeah.
probably stem from that time and giving yourself time to paint that picture for us and make us fall in love more with what you do in the ring.
Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I appreciate that tremendously. The COVID thing did come into play. Mainly, it was a lot of the COVID time was spent nursing an injury. Like I said, I tore my front pec right before COVID started. It was February, and then COVID kind of came through the next few months.
Okay.
So it was a weird, well-timed injury, if I had to say. If I had to get injured at any point, a lot of people weren't moving at the beginning of the pandemic. We were all afraid, moving.
Right.
But toward the end of the pandemic, yeah, there was some talk about me, getting back in. I think, AJ Gray and I had talked about maybe doing the original For the Culture thing. It just was a bunch of things that were in the air. But
Right.
but I think if I had started wrestling during the pandemic, that the injury would have gotten worse. I think I would have rushed it had I moved in 2020. So, but the pandemic
Okay.
but the pandemic did have its effects on me, like you said, mentally. It did inspire a lot of work. I'm sitting here watching our phones, and I'm seeing all these people, you know, kind of fall over. And so I was wondering, what are we going to do when this wrestling come back over? Is it the end of the world? Are we ever going to get to wrestle again? And as things started shining up and people started doing, matches, I kind of held a more optimistic point of view. But it helped me realize one thing that I wish people would more realize is that people will realize more is that because we are independent wrestlers and our dates are few and far between, or people see us more regularly,
Right.
um, Twitter, our social media is basically TV. That's your
Yeah.
TV. Like the shows and the pay-per-views, those are the big events. If you treat Twitter as if, hey, this is my persona, this is who I'm getting off, this is what the people know me as. That's how they're engaging with you. They need to see what you're doing in between the shows or building up to these shows. So whether you're interacting with who you're going to wrestle with, or whether you're just putting yourself over. Um, I realized that Twitter had become TV necessarily, technically. So I decided to give
Yeah.
myself a and really tell people what I was really about. So me being off, I was like, I gotta engage you somehow. So let me give myself a push in a different way and really show you who I am as a spirit. That way, when I get back in the ring, you kind of already understand, and some of the work is not already done, but it's a little bit of guided there. So it helped in that fashion. It helped me realize what we're really doing with social media and how I can maximize it.
Definitely. And like I said, that's how I kind of got put onto you was during the pandemic and seeing those promo videos like, yo, who's this dude? You know what I mean? Like it was like, yeah, okay, I could get that. So one of the people that you mentioned was Shane Teller. I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys' beliefs kind of aligned, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, is that something you would like to like maybe work with them from time to time on the independent scenes, or have you guys talked about that by any chance?
Yeah, so we wrestled. We came to blows earlier this year. It was a couple weeks after, I lost my father, and we kind of had a very shared, a special moment. So Shane and I
My
have
condolences.
definitely a brotherly bond. Even before then, um, thank you by the way. But we had a brotherly bond even before then. We had met overseas, ironically enough, and got to hang out over there. Yeah, we do have similar point of views. We where we differ is very more nuanced, which to me opens up a lot of conversations amongst the diaspora. But we'll address that when it comes.
Right.
But we're very similar, but we're different enough to really create some intrigue and create some interesting situations. But in terms of Shane Taylor, promotions, working with him and working with the crew, and I like this whole set. We've talked about it. An invitation has been extended, and basically, what we came to the conclusion is, that's family. And if I need anything, I know who to call. STP is only a phone call away.
Right.
So, maybe that's a phone call I'll make if the time is right or if the fans want it or anything like that. But right now, just, kind of doing my own thing. I kind of prefer to be a little Batman, work a little alone. and but I don't turn my back for my brothers, and I love what they're doing, and I love having allies.
Right.
So, if I ever you see me getting jumped, expect some of that music to hit, and you might some courageous, big guys coming out the curtain.
For real, for real. Do you are you planning to do anything more with AEW in the future? Even though
Uh,
now that you're working with NWA.
if the path leads to it, we're always in a business where you can't really confirm or deny things because if it didn't happen,
Right.
then you're a liar, and if it does happen, then you spoiled it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
try to walk on eggshells a little bit, keep a little more mystique. But the door isn't closed. I'll say that the door is not closed. And we had a positive reaction, I think. Not even speaking even outside of AEW, some of the things that you guys are supposed to see me do this month has been delayed because of the concussion I received. So a lot of movements would have happened differently. A lot of things would happen faster. But like I said, all timing is divine timing. So if
Yeah.
the time lines up right, then maybe you will see me there. Maybe you will see me everywhere in both places at the same time. Maybe it's one or the other. Who knows? But I always have to leave it up to timing and whatever naturally happens. So I hope you guys, I hope I get to do something that you guys enjoy. That's really what I'm at the end of the day. How can I please my audience? And how can I also, do something where I'm happy, be at a place where I'm happy as well. So if the door opens and, if the bridge, I guess if we get to that point and that's the best option to please the fans and we find something that's cool, then sure, I'd be willing to work with them. But it also has to be right for, us. And there's a lot of things in this industry that are wrong for us. So I have to always make sure it's right for feel me. Yeah.
I completely understand. Before we start this match, how do you prepare for a match like this? I'm not sure if this is the first time you guys were in the ring together.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for something like this? Because it was, again, a lot of anticipation going into it. You know, Panther style versus Tiger style. If you haven't gotten the shirt yet, make sure you cop the merchandise. Support these gentlemen. How do you get into a mind state for a match like this?
Well, first of all, you don't think about the pressure. You know, this was the first time Lee and I got into the ring together. I never wrestled Lee before. We had maybe 2 conversations at this point in time. And seeing him that day, we didn't speak much, obviously. We kind of in respective corners in the locker room, try not to get into each other's heads too much. But you prep through just remembering who you are. You know what I mean? I think that was the biggest thing, the biggest hurdle going into this trip. There's all the hype that comes with visibility. Hype does come with visibility. And when you're not that visible, when you are at home, whether you're nursing wounds or mental health or, just dealing with whatever life comes to pass or throws my way, it is kind of easy to forget who you are. You do get a little bit of imposter syndrome. So once you get over that hump and you realize, hey man, I'm here for a reason, I'm wrestling Lee, but Lee is also wrestling Darius Lockhart, and that's a big deal in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we were both very. I'm sure I don't want to speak for him, but I think it was a situation where we both walked out better than we were before, and just it was an honor to step in and do stuff with my brother. So I just try to keep calm, remember who I was, and let people know what kind of situation this was. That this isn't just a light day at the office. This isn't just a regular show on the weekend. That they were witnessing something special. You know what I mean? We like I said, we walked 2 similar but very different paths. Always, I don't know. It's just a lot of mental warfare you have to go into. But getting your mind right is primarily the strongest thing you have to do before a match like this.
Before we I'm gonna get set up the screen for the match. Who's some of the inspirations for you when it comes into wrestling and just with your life in general?
So my life in general, a lot of historical figures, cultural historical figures are my inspiration. There are a lot of people I look to in terms of how to carry myself. People like Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture. There are people. There is like Brother Fred Hampton. There is, Baynard Rustin and James Baldwin. Those people have a huge influence on me in terms of, putting your values where they belong and prioritizing it and not letting them fall to the wayside in the chase of money or in the chase of things that don't support, the overall cause or the overall mission or even help the people. And I say, the people, that is all people, but everyone who's a victim under systemic oppression of any kind. So those people really inspire me the most. But in terms of wrestling, there are people I look to. I do look to, the Samoa Joes, the Nigel McGuinness, the CM Punks. The Hardys were one of my favorite tag teams coming up. They were the people who made me want to watch wrestling. I like people, Doug Williams. I like people who stand for something, but also like people who dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to something in style. They're themselves 100%. And Doug Williams was that, and Zack Sabre Jr. has been that, and Jonathan Gresham's been that, and they may not always pop, but they stay true to themselves and watch how it turns out for them. So anyone like that who has an insane amount of skill level has influenced me some way. Bret Hart, and Bret Hart's a big one as well as Steve Austin. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of babies, a lot of people in the gumbo, but it's all here now.
If you could tag team with anybody, who would it be?
That's hard. I have like 5 tag team partners, bro. The day of the week,
Legend wise.
Oh, legend wise, Ron Simmons.
Nah, nice.
Me and Ron Simmons.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and start this match. I just want to give you a heads up. When it dropped that night, I didn't catch it at 8 o'clock because I was doing daddy duties. And then once the babies went to sleep, I was like, the match. And I sat there with my ice cream bowl, and I watched it like at least twice. And my wife was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching this great match. If you're not going to sit and watch with me, I'll be back.
Appreciate that. I'll be watching from the promo. I think we'll be watching just the match. It's crazy.
If you want to start from the promo, we can start from the promo.
Oh, I'd rather just start from the match. I don't need to hear myself.
Okay.
I don't need to hear myself. We're fine. But yeah,
Definitely.
looking forward to watching this match with you, brother. And thank you for the kind words.
No problem. No problem. Get some of the volume in. Like you just the vibe. By the way, my apologies for the bright colors that we're using right now with the graphics.
You're perfectly fine, bro.
But yeah, just the moment you come out, you just set the tone, and it fits you well.
Thank you. Definitely intentional. I try to do everything. Get it. Quick to tell me they don't get it, but it's not always for everyone. But if you get it, do it, it clicks, and I have an audience that gets it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful venue they have.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm bringing it down. I couldn't hear you for a minute. I'm sorry, what did you say?
It's a beautiful venue. Well,
yeah, it looks like it's very good.
Yeah, beautiful. They had a wedding there the next night.
The next night?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And it was storming outside too. So if you ever see flashes through the windows.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought I was just imagining that.
No, it was full blown.
And it definitely fit the whole atmosphere for this with the Panther style versus Tiger style. Like that's dope.
Thank you.
Like you said, it's all about timing.
All about timing. And it definitely already has a certain flavor. But Lee Moriarty's a big Bruce Lee fan. So Lee Moriarty's a big Bruce Lee fan. So I just kind of leaned into that little flavor. We threw a little Wu-Tang in
there. Yeah. So when he comes out to a music like this, do you think it's like mind games?
Absolutely. I'm in the ring with a smirk on my face. I realized, okay, like either he's not taking this seriously, or he wants me to think he's not taking this seriously and get aggravated. But it definitely threw me off. I was like, okay, he's about to boot up. All right.
And this is his hometown, correct?
Yeah, this is hometown Pittsburgh. So there,
look at that. Look at the reaction you received in his hometown. It just shows you how much people respect what you do out here.
Thank you. He's gonna be himself, and I'm sitting there trying to be, annoyed by it, but I can't. Because that right there is black boy. I think that little kids need to be a Lee Moriarty. You know what I mean? See someone who hasn't got a chance to love being him, not being him unapologetically. I think that shit's beautiful. I couldn't even hate on the entrance. So I was like, go ahead, bro. Skip around. Just know you're going to be 5 minutes. Not the energy.
Yeah. But he came out with his, the Pittsburgh colors.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he came out really relaxed. You came out really ready.
Yeah. He's always been represent.
Stadium. I've actually been there. Didn't get to see a game though. It was rained out. I was very upset. But that's the inspiration behind the ring here.
Smart as a competitor.
And Moriarty is ready to go.
Another one of Pittsburgh's favorite songs.
Now here's the funny thing. People always think I'm playing games here. Crowds are always telling people, don't do it, don't knuckle him up, don't touch it. But man, I just want to show respect to the brother. Just the moment bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to show love. I understand people's apprehension. There's always the old fake. Ricky Starks hit me with it. I get it. But it's a way I show love, where I show respect for what we're doing here.
At this point, to be able to come come back home to Pittsburgh and wrestle in front of your hometown crowd?
What was your strategy going into this?
You think about what Lee Moriarty
Honestly, I kind of exposed myself in the promo I cut because I told him, where were you, when Darius Lockhart fought Lee Moriarty? Where were you and Lee Moriarty? When Darius Lockhart out wrestled Lee Moriarty, I just wanted to out wrestle the kid. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to out wrestle him.
Right.
Heard so much hype, and there wasn't any resentment, hater going. So that was my strategy. Just staying ahead, thinking ahead, watching his tapes. I kind of knew what certain things were coming, and you'll see that as we go on as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like when you said that this is the first time you guys got in the ring together, you guys knew each other pretty well. So I'm pretty sure you guys did a lot of homework.
Yeah, it's
into
like
this.
up a little bit. So thinking ahead with Lee, it's almost like, damn, okay, what would I do? And you know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking,
Right.
but I'm thinking, okay, what would I do if I'm trying to think too? Okay, he's probably going for that. So really, you're thinking 4 steps ahead. You're wrestling Moriarty, which is why he's able to, catch you with certain things that just you're not prepared for because he has so many tools in his. But here I'm just like, okay, I'll give him a moment, but I'm gonna find a way. I do this too. I think there's that meme. It does concern me a little bit, but I do pack that thing too. You can get popped. It is very
Right.
much that moment, that energy throughout.
Darius and Lee, I think this is pretty much what everyone wanted to see out of a match like this. Like I am telling you,
And here,
when this got announced by
creativity.
Wrestling, social media
Didn't know what he was doing. Next thing you know, I'm in a head.
already
Okay.
Right.
This is cute.
I think from what we saw out of Moriarty,
This is
You
all.
see your mind working like, all right, what's next?
Yeah. I'm just thinking, okay, well, got that. So I not freak out. Yeah.
It's enjoy wrestling. This is one of his hometown promotions. To be.
And boom. And sometimes you don't need a lot. Sometimes you just get a good 4-roll will do.
You don't want to just give up.
That's like retroactively.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, just because you're thinking 4 steps ahead all the time. I'm sure he's overthinking. He's the guy that whatever, and I'm like, nah, bro. Sometimes, like,
Even matchup so far.
great.
you can feel the anticipation of the building. The fans are they're quieting down. They're kind of sitting on their.
And this is when we get nitty-gritty. The things he's going for. I'm trying to reverse here.
Right.
So much away as wrestlers, but I try not to give Lee anything. I try to make him work for stuff. Just because they don't know where I'm going. I mean, this risk, that risk, next year.
Do you like to single out a limb by any chance, or you just go to the flow to the match?
It depends on what I know going in about them. If I know they're nursing an injury, I'll keep a reminder in my head to remember that shoulder is there. But right now, when we're in this stage, if we're both going in fresh, thinking, let me grapple you and then see what you tend to favor. And then then I'll choose accordingly. Mainly,
That was an interesting escape.
Yeah, he's always gonna make sure his waves are good.
Nice head scissors applied
Yeah.
by Moriarty.
And Lee's lanky too, so this head scissors is
Yeah.
out of you. I'm sitting there trying to work my ankle and use a little pressure on the ankle to squeeze my way. He automatically knew what was going on
Right.
and went right to the defense once again.
Really causing
Walk
Lockhart
right
some
out.
trouble. Every time he tries to sit up, Moriarty brings him
And right
back
there,
over,
using
now has
his
hold
foot,
of it.
using every small
Grapple to the
get
arm.
out.
And something that we see so much of, something we think of
Yeah,
as
he's
so
definitely trying to go
simple,
for your
like a head
fingers.
scissors like
Oh,
It did.
nice look.
Moriarty has managed to turn that into basically 3 or 4 different holds.
What an escape though by Lockhart.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't see that one coming.
So what now?
Lockhart had the
So he didn't see that one coming. The leg, the arm sweep.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's less is more and simple is better. I saw the arm right there and I said, well, what's here? It's just one of those things that you don't think about. Going ahead, you just look for the opportunities in the openings. Like this right here. I speak I'm going for 2 leg tricks. We all know it. He's going for a third one. I know it. Boom. Knock.
Right.
Not
To sweep the leg, but Lockhart stopped it
Nicely
right
spotted.
at the sternum.
thank you. You know, that's one of those things as competitors. You know, we get used to getting things our way. We train with so much technique. We train over and over and over again. Play, you're working with the bag. Sometimes you forget that someone's going to punch back. So you know, we're
Right.
training on our leg sweeps and everything like that when we're grounding our basics. But what happens when that leg sweep doesn't work and someone just evades it? You gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
And you know,
We were talking before about
Oh,
George
nice
Sauer.
reversal.
right back in.
Darius Lockhart sat under that learning tree for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean,
That's where those fundamentals come
This
in.
is just good old-fashioned
Yeah.
wrestling.
And here I'm almost like I should crank down, but I'm almost hesitant to keep doing it because I know he's just gonna find a way out, knowing Lee. And this is almost
Right,
a time, really. I just kind of want to see where he's at. This is kind of me gauging his gas tank here and seeing what he has.
Oh.
It's totally different there. If you caught me with that roll up, I won't lie.
Ooh.
It definitely caught me there. But you know, it's all fair.
Right.
They-
Nice.
That Bruce Lee inspiration right there. He thinks he's doing it. It's fine. But I'm a little pissed at this point. So that
Right.
it might be a bit
Ooh.
about me. Yeah.
Nice roll.
Yeah.
Oh, nope, not twice. Not twice.
But here, once again, you're thinking someone steps ahead, catch me with this.
Right.
But then, you know,
Lightning in the background.
and try to. This one I knew the arm was coming, and I knew the drop kick. I watched enough clips, but
Right.
then he crossbody. So you think you have all the answers, and once again he pulls something about that.
Out of nowhere.
I don't know, which is ironic because once again I use a variation of the running crossbody. So you would think I would see it coming.
Yeah.
I think it's out already.
Look at that. The crowd already.
That already threw me off. I'm sitting there, well, his home team audience is like getting twisted. So let me get out. Let's see if it's still awesome.
Right.
This never feels good.
I'm about to say, oh no.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I don't know if you know, that's a move I actually got from Shane Strickland.
Oh really?
He used that reversal on me, stacked his arm back, and it was something I'd never seen anyone do before. And I remember saying, if I'm ever in this position myself, I'm going to use that. I'll do it. And there it was. And it worked until it didn't. He just snatched that. Yeah. And there's no way to explain to a casual audience member how badly that, unless without someone.
Nah. It just looks like it hurts, and I just like grimace.
Oh man.
Never imagine.
Oh. And here we go once again. But I already know my fate's coming. I'm just accepting it and taking the. I don't want. I always try to retreat to a corner or get near a rope. The ropes are going to go up. Sometimes, you know, it'll backfire, but it gives me a moment to collect my breath. And just,
Right. Get that separation.
Yeah, and if he stays on you, he's only got 5 seconds to do it. So, you know, don't want to get too. I like to use the ring to my ability. I know the rules, so. You know.
Maybe he has the attitude advantage as well.
Again, I got your knee in your. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's
Add a lot more. If that didn't good.
He is someone who, you know,
Ooh.
But you
mission to go out and volunteer in his community to give.
But these shoulder tackles.
When you're that all-encompassing,
Oh man.
He
kicks at that shoulder as well.
Yeah. Just completely just. I don't even know. Bruising the sternum, really. Taking this whole thing out. It was across my chest and the arm, so I'm surely trying to catch my breath as well as. I just out here,
Right.
just catch myself some breath. You know. At this point, I'll admit I kind of do what I before. He just, had a little bit more fight in him. So,
Oh, man,
yeah,
Right.
by the moment I grabbed Lee's wrist, I knew that what I was going.
It just
Kept cutting me off with those hits.
driving that rope.
Now you even up the playing field, arm for
Yeah.
arm.
It's one way to do it. That's why I like luring people in. I won't tell you all the tricks I have. If I can get you to a rope, I can change the momentum. If I can get to a rope, I can change
Look
it.
at Darius. Keeps
Doesn't matter who I'm wrestling.
swinging his hand
That's just
down.
my beliefs.
He's still feeling the effect of all of that
And you need to
deliberate
open up right
arm
there.
work on the part of Lee Moriarty. But now,
This is
going
payback.
up a
This is
little
me
bit.
being petty. I'm not a petty guy. I don't like glorifying pettiness, but at this point, hurt my arm. Got to do it.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Into a pin.
Stay right on top of him.
You have to. With
Lockhart
Lee,
now
you can't.
Yeah.
back to the arm.
And I made that mistake later on as the match goes on because I start a little bit feeling myself, but also just looking for opportunities to attack differently. Because what I was doing, it's working now, but overall he keeps getting up, so it's not working that well. You know what I mean? So I try to re-strategize.
Yeah.
My detriment probably didn't work out, but he keeps finding ways out. And this point,
Ooh.
Well, for now.
Yeah, well, sure.
at this point, this is the by any means necessary portion.
Yeah,
I get a little gritty.
Which is a little bit of a shadow of what Darius Lockhart
Still within the rules, though.
if he's pushed
But-
far enough.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Call that a move. Partial wall. The Marshall P. John.
I think that he
Don't.
has to just feel like that's his only option.
Cover. Leg hook, center of the ring, and out
You
and
know.
2.5. Moriarty, and now he's the one shaking out the left arm.
Now, normally I would grab a hold here, but to be honest with you, that left arm is not even getting the fans into it. It's really just trying to get blood flow. I'm not sure if I can hold a submission. He just keeps getting up out of it. My
Right.
left arm giving up hold, so I just and also just kind of getting through his head a little bit as well. He can't hit me. He's not
Moriarty swinging
saying
at
him
shadows there.
that out. At this point, I just kind of want to prove himself. Show me. Who's this great Lee Moriarty to tell me about?
Right. Ooh. Right back to that arm.
And then right there, that point, I kind of blacked out at that moment. That was that's when you get your head tossed up that wall.
Right.
That yeah, this part, yeah, this is what I black out to do things I would normally do to people, but hey, I got a point to do it.
I think you were right
I
there.
got
It's like, it had
do
just
it.
gotten to that point.
The ref's trying to toss some
By
sense
any
into me.
means necessary.
They were
Yeah.
hold, it wasn't quite working. Sometimes you have to escalate things a little bit.
I'll say this though, although maybe not.
At this point, I'm kind of feeling I think I got the fans are giving me shit, but it is what it is. I got their home time right in the middle of the ring back.
That is true.
Right.
That's strategy.
But then I get too comfortable, leave that arm down. Should have used my right arm
Ah.
right there. Once again, cannot tell you how hurt. But you don't want to give him too much breathe, and then that's why Lee Moriarty's dangerous. Thing that you
not
need
that arm again.
one, but just rock the rest. Kind of reverse his whip,
Right.
reverse the arm right there too.
Yeah.
It's
Tell.
even
You can tell right there.
half of what it normally is. That while Lee is like Tiger stop.
And Lee's still got his arm cradled to his side. Not completely recovered here at all.
Me trying to get away, man. At this point, I'm not nervous, I'm not afraid, but I know I'm a little bit in trouble.
Right.
Arm, and notice he had to use the right arm to hold on to my arm. Just to shut his mind, probably. And then once again,
Ooh.
I don't know where I am right here, but I hear the two in the back of my mind. Kick out.
Right.
I think that just they think wrestlers, people always say their instinct. They never describe what that's like. And you just feel the second hit of the mat. You just know I'm just gonna hope that that's not great. Thank God I got out before. But once again, we going for something. Trying to reverse out of here.
Lockhart.
Oh, reversal to reversal.
Got me right into the
Moriarty. Crossface.
Now here I didn't want to expend a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? People getting submission like that, they flail. So I wanted to stop breathing. I was able to get
Able to use his momentum.
at this point.
Into the crossface.
Right. I refuse to go to Pittsburgh
Lockhart to stay
and
able to throw his
what
opponent off of him.
Right. Ooh.
Right back to the
again. The divorce court takes the arm again. At this point, I'm F it. I'm just gonna start hitting you. SOL. I'm just gonna start hitting you.
Right.
So that
Who has the advantage? I don't think there is one, Vader.
at this point, you're just praying that he doesn't get up before you.
You got the crowd split for the Hotel Hero.
You know, and I went in with a unanimous decision. You know, everyone was kind of, I went in 95% lead. So now we're getting 50, and that was really cool to see the fans.
Darius Lockhart
Maybe go some of that poetic symmetry.
in the black
Could have
stripes.
wrote this if we wanted to.
In the stripes.
It's just him and I at this moment.
Are on their knees, face to face.
And Lee looks at me, he tells me, "You're not taking this away from me.
Rising stars
Yeah,
in
right there.
professional wrestling
I'll take what I
today.
want."
A lot of buzz about both these guys.
But you know, we start trading, going back and forth, and he starts getting in on me. Once again, my left arm doing nothing positive. He starts.
Right.
I use my right.
Ooh.
Never does me any.
Moriarty might be out.
And once again, I wish I
Yeah, the ref,
Blacked
the
out.
ref is gonna need to check on Lee.
at this point, I'm just kind of pissed. I just wanted him to keep trying to strike me
Right.
again. He was. I want to trade blows again. This is a different mode, Darius. I didn't want to hit him yet.
Darius Lockhart, though. Voting Lee. Oh,
Nah, this is hell. He got me.
Ooh.
He got me. And the kick from hell, too. This is a martial artist I've ever seen. Boom. But I once again scouted.
Oh, nope.
None book.
Ooh. Ooh. That was close. That was a
This
good
one talking
scout
about-
right there.
Thank you. It was real close. This is what I'm talking about, mental preparation. That's that. You know, you knew that this guy was tough.
Lockhart thought so too.
You knew that might not have worked, so you got to stay on it. But that left arm is killing, whether I try to play off or not.
You can tell.
Yeah, and here I'm going for that asylum drop.
You keep it close.
Yeah, I definitely.
Fighting it.
I'm going for that.
Lockhart going for a suplex and Moriarty doing his best to block it.
Had the side headlock and is trying to make himself
Good
as heavy as he
counter.
could.
Oh.
That's a roll up.
Referee
Right into the small.
position. Did he get him? No.
Very
Right.
close.
And this is nerve-wracking stuff right here. When you're trading pins,
That time.
Right.
Oh, crucifix cover. Countered by Lockhart. Now Moriarty back and forth.
Oh.
you just don't.
Oh, flip.
Uh-oh. Oh.
That was unique.
Thank you. The British pin I learned from Johnny Saint.
What have we not seen in this match, Vader?
It
This
is,
is incredible.
Ah, shoulder.
taking my own arm for the sake of, brevity.
Not twice. Oh,
And then he gets me. This is that thinking 4 steps.
yeah. Yeah, he remembered it from before.
Definitely.
But like I said, I watched it. This is such a great match between you two. I watched. This is probably like my 4th time watching it, maybe 5th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Since
Thank you.
last
I've watched it a bunch of times myself, just to see what I did wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not a person
Yeah.
who tries to stuff up anymore, but that pinfall doesn't sit right with me because I had a game plan and I diverted and it cost me. But
So I'm saying, so we didn't get Panther Style versus Tiger Style Part 2.
I mean, if I have anything to say about it, yeah, absolutely. I got a score to say. Uh,
Definitely.
talked a lot this thing, how important it was to me. People talked about how important it was to them. So I mean, not only do we owe it to fans to do it again for the sake of the moment and historical. I'll be frank, I'm a proud man. It's a great
Right.
Lockhart is right up there now.
But even then, at the end of the match, you still did the right thing.
Thank you. Yeah. It wasn't my intention to come in and make an enemy out of it. I was going to finish saying when I started, no matter if I won or not. That was my attitude. But I wanted that. It wasn't for my personal.
Everything that's happening for
Right.
him right now, he's on
Like,
the up and up. I have a feeling that this is not the last time that we are
I
going
think
to
a lot
see
more
together
children,
in a professional wrestling ring
be
somewhere, someday.
coming to my own vices and let my own ego start. Just for a season. I want to show at least some respect,
Right.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Like I said, that match is awesome. I watched it back a lot of times.
Thank
And that's something I probably continue to watch. And and a lot of us like Phil D from Grap City and Righteous Reg and Willow, they talked about this match. A few people, Black Wrestling, as you have the hoodie on, they've talked about this match as well. And
cool.
it's one of those things where if you're not a wrestling fan, if you have a friend that's not a casual wrestling fan, or just watch here and there, you show them this match. Like, look, this is how this is why we fall in love with this sport, because of
It's
matches like this. So yeah, thank you again, man, for such a great match. Shout out to Enjoy Wrestling too.
Yeah.
For putting it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you for even moving this time slot back. It hit me. I said yes because this is something I wanted. I felt it was okay and right to do. Break down this match because it's a lot to people. But I wanted to move back to 8:30 just because out of respect. I didn't want to run against their finale. It would be kind of like, thanks.
I understand.
I'm going to take it and run against with the same match. But no, I wanted to show them some love and thank you for moving that thing back for me. But this is
no
fun.
problem.
Shout out to Enjoy. They're amazing company.
They seem to be on the up and up, and I'm gonna watch some more because of you guys. I'm gonna be watching more of their product as well. Last thing before you leave, what happened to this exhibition with Trisha Dora? Did we ever get to see that exhibition, or is it still in a safe?
It's in a safe. It's in a safe. I'm glad you asked about it. So we wanted to do it live on social media. And unfortunately, because of the passing of Daphne, it kind of got in the way of the release, and we felt it'd be more tasteful to hold off for another time. The results happened. We dealt with the fallout ourselves, but then more things happened to kind of get in the way. I'm gonna release this at the right moment, and I think the right moment. I'm waiting for the right time. I think I want to let to see if it's necessary to release because it's kind of hard for me to talk about, I try not to choose sides, but me, Trisha Dora, and Sugar Dunkerton are all very good friends. The three of us. And somehow Suge has gotten himself, into the title picture as well. Respect. They're going for it again Thanksgiving Day at Beyond Wrestling. Shout out to them. The result of the match may not matter. I mean, I have to start from ground zero if Suge walks out with the win. I would hate to. I mean, I don't want to say what I would hate to see. Because I love them both very much, but I think there's a story Trish and I would like to, I would really I don't want to say beating her means a lot to me, but it does. It's a moment. It's a moment. I think there's something that her and I need to finish, and if that title's there, I think that holds a lot of weight to me. So I'm not saying I'm rooting against Suge, but I'm not going to put that video out if it's not applicable. If Suge's a new champ after Thursday, then I gotta wrestle him. But it's fault. It's on this very phone that I'm streaming from. It's just sitting, and I'll put it out.
Make sure you back it up just in case.
After Thanksgiving, maybe I'll put it out after Thanksgiving. How about that?
All right, we're looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you again for joining me. And it's funny that you brought up Suge because that's 2 weeks in a row somebody brought up Suge, and 2 days, this week in general because Il brought him up on this past Tuesday. And we gave him his flowers about what he does and the wrestling community in general, and giving out advice and stuff like that. So again, shout out to Shook. I would love to get him on here one day.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing this time.
Thank you.
Me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you for amplifying our voices. I said people, like me, like Eel, like Darius, like Shook, like Trish. I do have, like I said, a very big comfort zone. I like to, stay out of the spotlight a little bit when I can. I don't like to talk too much and do interviews a lot. But that is not to say that I don't appreciate what all of you guys are doing right now. The Black voices in media right now are really changing things, from Public Enemies to Black Wrestling to yourself to Black Girl Wrestling podcast. I see what you guys are doing, and I think you guys are integral to this movement, integral to the next 10 years. And if we can just stay out of each other's way and not bicker with one another and keep loving and showing support, I think we can do something very special together. So we need y'all. So thank you, brother, for having me on and having this platform and using it to help others, man. Because if I was when I was a 12-year-old kid watching independent wrestling, it was not this black, and I couldn't see black wrestling interviewing black wrestlers about black things, black matches. So it goes beyond to say you're just as important in your own right.
Thank you.
So thank y'all. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, he doesn't like to, do too much and, speak too much, but I'll speak for him in this matter. If it's okay with him, make sure you go head over to D-Lock Pro's Twitter. He has amazing merchandise on there that he released this past week. I copped the navy blue hoodie.
Oh, thank you.
I'm waiting to get that one because
appreciate it.
Blue Magic, I wear blue.
It's a funky site. Unfortunately, they don't ship until like the campaign is over. So if it's up for 2 weeks, the day the campaign ends, then they ship it all out. So
right.
You'll get it soon, though. You'll get it soon. It'll be real beautiful.
Yeah, I'm patient. I'm just happy to support. There's a black hoodie too that after I purchased that one, you posted up the black hoodie, and I was like, no,
yeah.
I should have saw that one first.
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up buying that in the next 2 weeks.
I threw the 3-week time limit on that. That's the most you can do for it. So I was like, I think people might want to re-up and get something else. So yeah, I appreciate that too. Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm trying to find it so I can say exactly what was on there. Oh yeah, what time is it? Nation time. I'm like, no, I need that. So I'll definitely get that in the next 2 weeks as well.
If you want a hoodie, you can go through like my media on Twitter and see the post, or you can just go to the link tree in any of my bios across my social medias, whether Instagram or Twitter, and it has its own tab. So if you just go to my link tree and scroll down to the bottom, the hoodie itself, all the hoodies have their own tabs. So that's an easy way to find it for them. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Lockhart, thank you so much for joining me for this time.
You too, man.
And on that note, peace.
Peace and love.